All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. I got another watch list for you. And given that we saw a whole lot of nothing today, we have to talk about the next catalyst. Literally, we have two things this week that could possibly move things. I don't think it's going to be the big one, but after watching today and coming off of yesterday, a lot of people are kind of saying, yo, what's the next move and why did we do what we did today? Literally, it was all over the place. You could make today as simple as you want it to be. You could say, wow, it's confusing, manipulated, all of this, or you could kind of just take a step back, realize we are coming off of one of the worst day in 2 years. Anytime you've had a 4 or 5% sell-off, this stat should sound familiar. There's usually a 1% bounce the next day, but if you saw the nature of today, dollar was down, yen was up, US stocks found a way to go green, China, Europe, they did bad, bonds were literally all over the place, even the correlation, Fed futures calmed down a little bit, but then natural gas went up, and then oil was in the middle. The point is, everything is all over the place, and that right there is volatility, because you're watching now kind of the cockroaches start, moving around. Anyways, but we got a lot to talk about. I got the catalyst, I got the levels for you. We're gonna go over that. I made a couple of plays. I hit another yen trade at nighttime. We'll go over that, and then we traded a couple futures. I'm even holding one short coming into this, and then the plays for the rest of the week. So drop your thumbs up on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/thestockmarket. I mean, let's see how this week goes, but even next week, I'm really sure you're gonna want to be there after Powell, baby. So I hope you're ready. Hey, Chad, what do you think? I know you've seen this shirt, but you gotta see the pants. Bro, I grabbed this in the morning when I was just waking up, so I didn't know what I was wearing. And bro, I look like my dad, run it, baby.
Walking to the couch, it's the 2020 election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a live, but I still reinvest it. Feel how I feel, then you feel it's a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but the sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down.
Right off the bat, Chad, like we said, today was all over the place. But if you want a simple way to define it, today was the hangover. And the fact that we didn't even get past those morning highs, it kind of shows that we're gonna get a lot more volatility, or at the very least, it's not like this bounce was no overreaction, we gotta go buy it. And that's what I said today. Someone said, well, was yesterday an overreaction? No, at least in my opinion. I mean, we'll find out. That's what time will tell, but I'm pretty confident it wasn't an overreaction, just given the velocity and size of yesterday and the bad news. Pretty much, if it was an overreaction, maybe drop 3%, but 5% is very, very rare. But one thing that we kept bringing up today, and you got to keep this in mind, is that a lot of dead puts, they came back to life yesterday, and now the dealers, the market makers, they got to hedge, buy stocks, all of that. Whatever way you want to look at it, the point was a lot of dead money and liabilities, low-key, came back to life. So today, to do nothing kind of made sense. Like we said, throughout history, 5% drop, 1% rebound. I mean, this is kind of normal. I hate to say it just because 5% is not normal, but tying that into today, you could see we did absolutely nothing. You barely broke out the level early in the morning, and then literally by the end of the day, all the action was that last 15 minutes, and it barely left us above where we were at. I think the Dow was even almost unchanged, I believe. But the point is, today was kind of the response from yesterday. You're watching things all over the place, and now these catalysts that are coming up, this is what will drive us by the end of the week. But just like I've been saying, don't forget, next week on Wednesday, that will be the final move. That will be whether we see new lows or no, okay, we could chill out and maybe we see a little more upside coming into the final quarter. But getting into those catalysts now, here is your second key. You have the jobless claims and then even core retail sales tomorrow, and those can move things. I would definitely watch out for that, but my money is on the Michigan consumer sentiment on Friday. Pretty much with everybody everybody watching 100 basis points, and that's even part of today. Those odds did cool down a little bit. I think it was either JP Morgan or Goldman. They said no way in hell that Powell is going to do 100 basis points. Yesterday, Nomura and then WSJ Timmerhouse, they said stuff. So kind of a little bit of back and forth, but keep in mind, with everybody watching what the Fed is going to do after seeing inflation data on Friday, that is going to be inflation expectation data. And really, I think that is the things that could get the market moving either lower, or if you want to get any amount of relief, the Michigan's consumer sentiment, this might be there for the bulls. Pretty much, here's the chart. Remember, the last couple of months, it has been declining. The one time it did pop, we did sell off. That was a couple of months ago, if you remember. But point is, coming into Friday, this thing has already been declining. If we could watch this come down, that could be bullish, or it could add to the move. Pretty much good news is good news, bad news is bad news, but this one might have a chance to move things. So that's the first next catalyst we're going to be watching. That's going to be on Friday. You got a mini one tomorrow with the data, but now coming into the next catalyst, key number 3, that railroad strike is definitely something to watch, especially if you are in commodities, oil, natural gas, any of that. Right off the bat, it's already having that impact, and that's what we got to see today. But if this railroad strike gets out of hand, it could really start hurting the market. Now, most people do not think this is going to happen. If you remember, we brought this up on Friday, and this is what I'm saying. This is the next catalyst, just because it has really developed all throughout the week. We brought this up Sunday coming into Monday, and literally Monday morning, like 3 or 4 big banks came out and they upgraded every single railroad stock. They said, nah, we don't think anything's going to happen. Then yesterday, a lot of people were like, well, I guess we don't know. And then the stock started selling off a little bit. A lot of Chads who work in the industry, they were like, nah, man, it's definitely happening. And then today, seems like there was more of an attitude shift. And now we find out coming into Friday, and literally these two movements throughout the day, even though we had no news, they correlated with these updates on the Amtrak, the railroad, all of that. We heard from NSC, Warren Buffett's railroad company. They gave an update, and then even Amtrak, they said that they're shutting down certain like long distance traveling. But the whole point is now, people are starting to respond, and depending on what happens on Friday, it could lead into a reaction. Again, you're seeing how people are reacting now, but especially coming into next week. And now, to add to all of this, why a lot of people think that this won't occur is because I think it was like 1993 or 1991 was the last time you ever had a rail strike of this scale, and the government stepped in and said, nah, you guys can't strike. It was really too important. Pretty much anytime it's been like this, or the last time, the government stepped in and made sure that it didn't get out of hand. And that's what adds to it, because we heard about this a couple months ago. It's just getting to the point where you're watching it kind of unfold. So that is the next catalyst. I would definitely keep watching out for it. Again, that's going to hit later this week and then coming into next week. And then you're also going to have Powell. But coming into the final key, number 4, baby, it's all about the ranges. Watch 3,900, that 390. That's the key to the low side. For the upside, 4,034. That's pretty much right where we were leading into the CPI. I think that would be the new upside. And why I'm bringing this up is, one, we are trading well within those ranges today. Given that we closed where we were yesterday, it didn't create like no man's land. But overall, why I'm bringing this up, because remember what I said before the CPI, I was saying all that really matters is leading into Powell. But I said if it's going to be bad, 390 coming into Powell, or 430 if it was a good response. So now that we've already sold off, I'm lowering the target to 403 on the upside, but that 390, I really do think it's going to be key. So coming into this option expiration, it's going to be a quad witch and all of that. Let's see what happens, but let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I have a couple of plays. Let's actually start with some of the ones we made today and what I have open. Again, there's still a lot of these trades that we're holding. I still got like the DoorDash. I'm up on that one again today, and I'm not including the Yash on here. It only lets me show 6 because of the active trader, but I'm down 1,700. I thought I was going to average down, but I was like, well, even if I average down, I would have been down on it. But I'm either considering cutting and eating taking it or waiting to get like a real solid green to try to recoup or even walk away with the profit. Who knows? But as far as what I'm holding in some of the trades, I opened a micro E-mini today on the S&P. Still holding that. I was up like 170 on it throughout the day, but then that last move, now I'm down $35. The AMD still holding short, up 200, lost some money on that today. The Arch, that came back. And again, even though coal is getting affected with the railroads and all of that, I would definitely watch it still. And again, with UNG, I still really do like that one. So still holding that. The Boyle and then UNG at the bottom, they came back today, and we're going to talk about this play, but still holding those. IYT, that was my exposure to some of this travel and just broader economic slowdown, but that one came back to positive, or actually ended up closing down $7. And then the Tesla, that one ran against me. I think Kathy added to it, but we'll see. Still holding those. But then as far as the trades I made today, this morning, and even throughout the day, all I did was open up that micro E-mini, but in the morning, I closed out a yen purchase, but you didn't get this on stream alerts. You didn't hear about it. I made this trade at 9:50 p.m. Pacific time. So it was like, what, 12 Eastern? But there was news that came out with Japan. They pretty much said like a rate check, and it was like verbal intervention with the yen. And literally, like anytime you get the early yen news, it like usually carries. And that was my logic. And I was playing around with some of the bigger future contracts. So I said, let me hit it. I sold it out in the morning. I made like $600, so not bad. But there was that one, opened up that other mini, and then I opened a full-size future on the ES. So this one was a little bigger, and I actually only held it for like 45 seconds, and I was able to make like 120, 150 bucks out of there. Wanted to get a quick flip and start testing some of these bigger future contracts more or less. So there was all that. As far as the plays now, play number one, baby, McDonald's. So they gave a recession warning today, or pretty much negative guidance coming into 2023, and they have a lot of meat on the bone and have been an outperformer. I brought this up, I think, like 2 weeks ago. Never got to make the play. I was going to take the play today, but it just seemed too choppy, and we were in that hangover mode. I said I'll wait. So I'm eyeing 50 shares short on this, but we'll see what happens. But if things do develop negative, I definitely think this is going to be one to watch. But that's the first one. Play number two. We brought this up yesterday. I got to bring it up again today. Coin and Beto. It's a big day for Ethereum. The merger's happening. Who knows? It could be either Y2K or literally, man, the new path to adoption. And it could change a lot of things. It could even be very, very bullish for like NFTs and just so many things. It's a very exciting day, especially if you've been holding Ethereum. So anything could happen, and that's why we're going to watch it. But I'm just going to watch this all day. Coin and Beto, obviously, watch if there's an effect. Maybe money goes from Bitcoin to Ethereum. That's one thing to look for. Maybe everything goes smooth with the merger, but then Coinbase, they have a problem. So just keep your eyes out for it. I definitely think there'll be movements in plays, but definitely like that. That is play number two. And then number three, baby, Airbnb and Uber. I'm excited to bring this one up, man. So these were our last long-term pickups. Again, they've been running, but if you've noticed today in the last couple of days with these two names and a couple others that are similar, travel names or like tourism names, they have been low-key very, very strong, and both of them are now at these breakout points. So depending on what we get, and especially now coming in those catalysts on Friday, whether it's the rail and seeing where commodities are, but then especially that consumer sentiment, I would definitely be watching out for that one. I think that could have a big effect if we do get any sort of relief, but even without it, there has been names that have been doing good after that 5% sell-off, and these are some of them. So going to be watching them. I like the points that they're at. Even Airbnb, really at no man's land. It hasn't really closed at this price. It either stays at that 127 or not. So we will see what happens. But that is play number three, and you already know what to do with this one. I have to bring this up. I just want you to understand why, baby. UNG, natural gas moved big today. We saw a little bit of the clues yesterday. He's like, dude, why is it going up? But here's the reason for today. They said natural gas was going up on weather and hotter weather in some places, which is factoring, demand and forecasted demand. And then the rail strikes, that is also factoring into it, because if they stop using coal, well, that LNG is going to be in hot demand. So don't be a victim to the premium. Why? You see it. I'm up on UNG. I'm up on Boyle, and I want to use Boyle as an example because this is a volatility index, and I didn't average down on this one. I averaged down on my UNG shares, but all I want you to see, I'm up $100 on Boyle on 25 shares. Again, I was down like $600-700. You saw it. Go back to the other watch list. Came back up. This is what I was saying. There's going to be a lot of volatility. That's it. Before you determine right and wrong in oil, it's just going to be volatile. So be careful. You better be prepared if you're going to be trading it. But now, There's a reason why I'm doing shares. I don't want to be on a time frame in that sort of choppy environment, and just take a look at these options. This first one is a Boyle 102, and I bought my shares on September 2nd. But if you look at the weeklies, this one is even in the money or like slightly outside of the money. This thing is down $200 on a $700 contract even after the move. You lost on the premium. Go to the October one, more time, a little bit out of the money. You'll notice maybe you got a better price on the second, but you're either break even or even down. And then at one point, those contracts lost like 60 to like 80%, or no, I think it was 60, 70%. But either way, it was pretty bad. But this is what we've been saying. Options are great. You can still make money. Again, I still have an in the money UNG that is up 1,000%. It's great if you get it at the right price at the right time, but watch out for the premium. If it's going to go up and down and you plan to hold it, you know the what, but not when. That's where I'm saying just don't be a victim to the premium, and really you can see it. But those are all the plays. I've already covered everything else. Again, what we're holding far as tomorrow, I'm definitely going to be watching those ranges more. I want to see if UNG and oil kind of get picked up again. And then really watch some of the defensives like consumer staples, again, energy and healthcare, some of the more recession-proof ones or stagflation, inflation-proof ones. That kind of has had movement, but really I want to see if we get a signal. I need the dollar and everything to kind of move more uniform than not. Otherwise, we may have it play out like today, but coming into expiration, I don't know if it'll be that calm. Either tomorrow's really exciting, Friday does nothing, or tomorrow does nothing, and Friday is just going to be... But I hope you're ready, ladies and gentlemen. That is your watch list. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shine. I need you to remember, baby, you're made for this. You control the pressure. That's it. For real. It's simple. Just like CPI, right? You can have inflation. Even if it comes down and be like, it's still around. It's the same thing with pressure, but you can address it and you can still operate under pressure if you don't let it get to you, and do not increase the pressure already. Look around, bro. There's enough pressure to go around. Last thing you need to do is double think, overthink, triple think, add more pressure, beat yourself up. You remember inflation? He got... Anyways, you see what I'm saying, Chad. I love you. God bless you. I got into that exit a little bit weird there, but dude, it's game time, Chad. Let's go. And remember, I'm going to say it slower this time. You are living through history, but you are living through it so you can make it. You are going to make history, Chad. Just stop playing with me. Okay, I love you. This is too much hype. Okay, I love you. Goodbye.